video. I'm gonna be starting early today. I told you I'm back. We back. It's the summer. It's late spring. Gonna be early summer. What is the state of the world, state of events 2022? As you can see already, 2022 has already been such a trying year so far. Most of the people in our spiritual community has been under the weather, fell out. Young Pharaoh, channel down. Um, Rest in peace, Kevin. Rashad in the water right now is going down. Vaughn in the water right now is going down. What is happening to the state of our community? Are we being attacked? Are we being attacked? Is it all of this for naught? What's happening in the world? Certain events, talks of war. The world is going crazy right now, like it's always been going crazy. And I told you I'm here for the community. I've always been here for the community. I will always be here for the community. I'm not here for the views. I'm not here for the money. I'm here to tell you how it's going down. I always go out my way to learn the most update knowledge, the most accurate knowledge to this entire world, entire existence. So we know what to do and we know how to fight against people who are against us, right? Now let's talk about the state of the community, right? What's going on with 2020? From 2020 to now. What happened 2020 to now? Everybody got shut down. 2020, everybody got shut down. 2021 was a recovery year. Everybody was trying to recover from what was going on in 2020, in 2021, 2022. They're starting to move the plan forward. They're starting to move the plan forward. What are they doing? What are they doing, right? I'm going to tell you right now. The world is doing what they're going to do. They're going to control the minds. They're trying to control the minds of the people. They're trying to create a currency. They're trying to set up a place. They're trying to create a where everybody can be centralized, conformed to have everything under the way that they're doing. This is the stream. This is the events. This is how they're going on, and that's how they're moving forward. That's how they're moving forward. They're moving forward to try to get a sort of one currency system. Everybody's trying to say it's by 2030. We're not going that far ahead. We're not jumping that far ahead yet. We're going to focus on 2022, but I'm telling you, that is the state of affairs. Since 2020 to 2022, they're trying to get everybody under the same centralized system, or they're trying to run game on everybody to see who's going to conform to the centralized system. Not everybody's going to conform the same way. They're not trying to get everybody to conform at the exact same rate. It's called an average. If you learn in school, it's an average. And you know who they are. Everybody who I've been talking about since 2020. Those of us who are not for us. Those who are against us. Those who are not for the people. Those who are against the people. Those who are trying to manipulate the people. Everybody's my people. Melanated or non-melanated. Everybody's my people. Everybody's a person. And the only reason I know that now is because I now know the science that is beyond them all. I now know the science. I now know the facts. I now know the truth behind it all. And if you think that these forces are some kind of entities that are not from this planet, they're from this planet. I'm here to tell you that here right now. You don't need to go outside the planet to figure out what's going on. You don't. Not necessarily. You don't. You can be right here on the planet and just observe and watch and figure out what's going on and how these people are trying to play us. They're people. You heard what I said? They're people just like us, but they're not for the people. They're a small group that have been collectively over hundreds of years, if not coming up close to a couple to 1,000 or so, that have been writing stories using the infinite science that we already know to their advantage, because most of the world wasn't caught up yet, because they just happen to be the sort of people who know we are now fully ingrained into the age of Aquarius, and we're hitting that part In the average graph, we're hitting that part in the graph where everybody is starting to curve upwards and get to the same point of understanding. We're like here. We're no longer going flat and only certain people know. Slowly but surely, every day, people are getting more knowledgeable. You realize that? Your friends, your family members, I don't even need to be in your house. I know 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, situations weren't this good. People weren't this receptive. Now they are. 5, 10 years ago, you might have said, oh, you know, situation was a lot worse for me, or things didn't run this smoothly. Everything is getting better globally. If you think the world is getting worse, no. The world and the people, the natural, the earth. Look what's on me right now. The sun. Naturally, everyone is getting better. You know why? Because the environment is stronger than the people. The environment is stronger than the people. We've been told a lie that people are stronger than the environment. Alright, we back. We back, right? Yeah, we back. Alright, sorry about that. That was on me. That was on me. We've been told this lie that the environment is stronger than the people. The environment ain't stronger than the people. I said that backwards. Wow. You see how one little thing can mess up my train of thought? I got you. The people are not stronger than the environment. The environment is stronger than the people. Now, what do I mean, Chris? What you mean? What you mean? Earth, the universe, the sun, which we get our source of energy from, the power our melanated bodies, the power all of our bodies. If you're a human, you can speak, you have intelligence, you live in a house, you're human. You know why? Because relative to the sun doesn't make a difference. The sun doesn't discern. The earth doesn't discern. The earth provides oxygen. The earth provides water. Where does the earth get all of its natural resources from? The sun. The source of all the hydrogen, the oxygen, the carbon, all living life. Us people make distinctions between all of these things. There are no distinctions. There are no distinctions when you're talking about the sun, when you're talking about the earth. If a natural disaster wants to happen tomorrow, it's going to be planned and predestined by the universe to happen. It doesn't make no distinction. It doesn't make no distinction. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. It is us people who think, oh, it's the end of the world because us people want to end the world. We can't end this world. We can do damage to ourselves. It could be people attacking other people. It could be people manipulating other people. It could be the man, the powers that be, the 0.1 percenters who control the 1 percenters, who have control over the 5 percenters, who have control of the 20%, the celebrities and everybody else that we know and love, right? That we cherish. That be affecting the 80% of us who are just regular people trying to live our lives. But we need to understand we have more numbers than them. They just have control of our mind because they set the standards, they set the rules, they tell us what is important and what's not important. And guess what? We don't need to change our society. We don't need to necessarily change our culture. We just got to stop letting people tell us. We just got to stop letting the super elites tell us what is important and what's not important. You know why? Because they don't decide that. Nature does. Nature does. Nature decides what's important, what's not important. Nature decides if it should supply enough oxygen for humans to survive or not. This is why I'm not afraid of the super elite or anything like that. It's why they can't stop us. Because if you're under the natural law of the universe, if you're under the natural law of the creator God, every single last one of us has individual powers and abilities as people. But we did not create this. We did not create all of this. You may have created the house that you are in. You may have people who do construction in your family. to create the house that we are in. But I'm telling you, you did not create you did not create the tree outside. You planted the tree outside. You did not create it. You did not create the mountain in the Himalayas. You didn't do that. You did not create the great ocean bodies of water. You did not create the seas. There are man made lakes. There are man made canals. Man can alter what's already there, but to a very limited extent. Just because man can alter society does not mean that one man created it or one man can destroy it. No, we can't. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. That's one of the first laws that they teach us. And let me tell you something, that's not a lie. I cannot create matter, I cannot destroy matter. It is all eternal, right? Now I'm gonna get into the holy books for a second. I'm gonna get into the holy books. As above, so below. Now what does that mean? Right? Now you're thinking people like the Freemasons and all that stuff, da 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 da, talk about that and that's evil, right? You know they got that from us, right? You know they got that from us, right? The people, the ones who are actually in tune with the universe, right? You know they got that from us. And I want to tell you about that too. They got that from us because we gave it to them. We gave it to them. We gave it to them. We as a people have been spreading down proper truth, proper knowledge all our entire lives. There is going to come points and periods of times where we're going to challenge ourselves because we don't really truly want to believe what we've been told. So these elites were the people who decided to challenge the ancient elders, the ancient ancestors, the ones in the past who used to spread truth, knowledge, and peace to the world because they didn't want to believe what we were telling them. And even though it's been hundreds, if not thousands of years since the time of the elders, guess what? We still have the knowledge. You know why we still have the knowledge? Because the universe that the knowledge was based off of still hasn't changed. It still hasn't changed. It still hasn't changed. And you gotta realize humans, while we're in this body, while in this form, we cannot affect this reality. We cannot change the natural state of being. We can't do that. You know what age we are in right now? We are in the age of Aquarius. What is that? That is universally the age of humanity. Humans. Human. Hue. If you don't know what a hue is, the 7 colors of light. When you put them together, they make a hue effect. They're like different variations of shades. And you have man. We are man. You might say, I am my own creator, I am my own. No, you're not. Do you have power to do everything that you have to do in your lifetime? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. But you gotta understand the all creating source gives you the ability to do that in the first place. Going back to the holy books, the one true Father of them all, the Father God, the Creator God, the one who creates and provides good fortune, Jupiter, to everybody, going back to the holy books. That is the one true Creator God, right? That is the one true Creator God. And now that we know that, now that we can understand that, you can understand you have to take action into your own hands to manifest whatever you want into this reality. It also says that in the holy books. It says you gotta work to eat. And you gotta work to get your, and it's the same principle. You have to work to get whatever you want in this reality. Nothing just falls into somebody's lap. Even if you're born into wealth and nobility like these super elites, right? Even if you're born into wealth and nobility like the super elites, if you do not work to maintain and keep your house in order, it will fall apart. If you do not maintain your business that you inherited from your father or your mother, it will fall apart. Or somebody else who's actually been working in that business, somebody else who's been working on the sidelines for that bloodline family or whatever the case may be, are gonna say, no, yeah, you're just not as good as me at this. I'm gonna take over now. That's how it works. That's how they got in the first place. Because we as humans are faulty. We're not perfect. We're not completely perfect. We can make mistakes. We can be wrong. We go through a growth process. We go from a baby to an adult. We don't come out the womb perfect. We don't come out of the womb a fully fledged adult. In our prime, we come out babies that have to work our way to our prime. And once we hit our prime, it only goes downhill from there until we hit our old age, and then we have to leave this planet. This universe will always be here. As above, so below. Remember, when I'm talking about this universe and what we can see right now, here on Earth, here on Earth is below. The heavens above us, the stars, the galaxies that we will never go and see. It doesn't matter how much science wants to tell you we can see um we can see this planet in this solar system, that planet in that galaxy, and that quasar in that entire Milky Way. It doesn't matter how much we see. In our lifetimes, we will never, ever, ever do that. Elon Musk is trying to get people to go to Mars. That's fine. That's fine. Elon Musk is trying to get people to go to Mars. We can. We have been sending people out into space into to the moon. That's fine. Guarantee you, in our lifetimes, within the next 100 years, we're not even gonna make it as far as Pluto. Guarantee you. They sent a satellite in like the 70s. They sent a satellite, an unmanned, unarmed satellite, off of the orbit of Earth into the orbit of Pluto. It took that satellite like 30 to 40 years just to finally pass Pluto's orbit. It took 30 to 40 years just for that satellite to get to Pluto and then pass its orbit. We're not getting as far as Pluto in our lifetimes. We're not. So, everything that we can see, we can dream, we can imagine, we can interact with, those are the heavens. Those are the heavens. The stars out, those other places, we're not getting there. Those are the heavens, right? But guess what? As above, so below. On earth as it is in heaven. What does that truly mean? What are these ancients trying to tell us, right? What are our ancient ancestors from history trying to tell us, right? What are these holy books trying to tell us? As above, as below. What does as mean? The same. As it is here on earth, it is there in heaven. This is how we're able to track things. This is how you gotta listen to me here. You gotta listen to me here. I'm literally teaching you game. I'm teaching you the fundamentals needed to maneuver in society so that nobody can fear you anymore. Nobody can instill fear in you anymore. So you can fully understand why you here, what your purpose is, how you contribute, how we as a society can contribute. Remember what I've been told y'all last year. Remember what I've been told y'all already. We are a dysfunctional people. And I'm not just talking race right now. We are a dysfunctional humanity right now. We are a dysfunctional humanity right now. Humanity cannot come to a complete decision on anything. It's I believe this, you believe that, my people say this, your people say that, I'm segregated here, you're segregated there, you're there, you can't mix, we can't mix. This is why I love learning the celestial science. This is why I like understanding the science of everything. Because like I said, the sun doesn't discriminate. It provides hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, iron, mercury, All elements on the periodic table. It doesn't discriminate. The earth doesn't decide you're a human, you're not a human, therefore you don't get air. It provides air everywhere. We human create events, put ourselves in situations where the air pressure is lower. We put ourselves in situations where we take away the air from ourselves. But this planet across on the surface where we live, where we inhabit, we don't live underwater. We're not fish. We can't breathe underwater. On this part of the environment that we've always been living, it provides oxygen. Even in the holy books, the first book, Genesis, right? It doesn't matter which holy book you're reading, they all have a creation story. It's usually all about a 7-day process. In the beginning, what? The first line of Genesis, God created the heavens and the earth, right? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. You see how it is? They don't have control of that. The super elite don't have control of anything. They just understand the game better than we do. They understand the game better than we do, and they're hiding it from us, and they're manipulating it. There's always been people in history that see more than other people. There's always been people in history that can see the path forward more than others. And if I'm the only one that has the ability, think with me for a second. If I'm a super elite and I'm the only one who has the ability to tell you what's going to happen next, don't you have no choice but to believe me? Don't you have no choice but to follow my rules and my instructions? If you want to know when the next catastrophe is going to go on, and I know when it's going to go on, but I'm trying to tell you when to prevent it, or you ask me, how do we prevent the next catastrophe? I can make a buck off you. I can make you do some things that you didn't really have to do, and then get control of you. And when the next catastrophe happens, you're gonna have to cling to me again, cause you don't know. This is why most people fall into this category. This is why the people are so divided right now. Segregation. Segregation. People are too prideful. People are not humble enough to be like, you know what? Let's be bygones, be bygones. Let's um um put things under the rug. Let's you know what? Let's just be friends. Not even be friends. Or you know what? You go to your community, I go to my community. We can interact and do business with each other. Even though we don't like each other, we don't need to see each other. But if for some reason you're in my community and I'm your community and you need help or you're lost or something, I can guide you back to your community. Or if you're trying to live in my community, I'll let you live in my community. Just don't cause any trouble. Why can't we all come to a conclusion like that? Why can't all humans come to a conclusion like that? You want to live in my neighborhood? That's fine. But you got to understand why you're here. These are the rules. This is what we do. And if you can follow those rules, if we can come up to you, make those rules clear, if you can follow those rules, you can live here. If you can follow the rules, we can go around here. If you can't follow these rules, if you're out doing things you're not supposed to be doing, you have to leave. And if you're not going to leave, we make you leave. Why can't we just do that across the board? Why do we have to bring up things from the past? Why do we have to bring up things that don't affect us no more? Because if you want to take me personally, I understand what's been happening, especially to my people, over these past thousands of years. I understand. I understand what's still happening today. What's happening, right? Gentrification, gerrymandering. I can understand. But for me personally, I've never been put into a situation where I had to fight anybody, fight any law enforcement, fight anything like that, and anybody has messed me up. I'm gonna tell you this one universal truth. That I can understand, and I understand now. How you talk to people, how you treat people, is going to create more problems or more benefits from you. How you talk to people, how you treat people is going to create more problems or more benefits for you. That's all it's ever been. No matter what your race is, no matter what your race is, that's the only thing I've come to understand. You come off with a bad attitude, somebody's going to treat you with a bad attitude. And a bad attitude is going to lead to escalation, that's going to lead to violence. Lack of manners, lack of common sense leads to confrontations that didn't need to be had. Now, why are we in those situations? Because they put us in those situations and things like that. No, they didn't. We let them do it. Did we not have common sense back then to understand what they were trying to do? If one group of people got another group of people to do something that would have been to the dismay of the first group of people, that means that one group of people were actually smarter than the other group of people. Why else would we let them do it? Why else would our ancestors let that happen? Why? Our ancestor had all these remedies, had all these treatments, had all these things that we don't have anymore. Then how come when this other group of people came in and they were sickly, none of our remedies could handle it? Or a majority of our people could not handle it, even if we had all these remedies and so that's supposed to heal all illnesses and heal all ailments. Why did so many of us fall off then? Why did so many of us lose the fight? Why did so many of us agree to let them do what they had to do for their survival, for their betterment, for them to build the world and society they wanted to build, that we still to this day are agreeing to? I'm going to tell you, the in our hands. It wasn't in our hands. Nobody just freely says, you know what? I'm going to let you treat me like I'm an indentured servant. Nobody says that. Nobody agrees to that. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Because it was already the path that the universe said we're going to go down. Remember what I told you, what these super elites are doing. They know the truth. They know the universal code. They can see what's going on. They can't stop it. They can't control it. But if they can convince you who doesn't know what's going on, this is what's happening, this was going down. If the super elite can convince you that you have to follow my specific way to stop whatever catastrophe is coming after you, then you're going to realize, oh, if I had knew this myself, I wouldn't even need them. If I had truly known this myself, I wouldn't even need them. If me and my group of people had known them, had known what the universe had in store for me, I wouldn't be in this predicament. We wouldn't be in this predicament in the first place. But guess what? Like I said, the universe ordained it. We are in the age of Aquarius now. We are in the age of Aquarius. We're not coming into the age of Aquarius. We've been in the age of the Aquarius for hundreds of years now. Hundreds, actually. Hundreds. Most people think we're just about to come into it, or we've only been in for about like 50 or so some odd years. Max. We've been in the age of Aquarius for hundreds of years now. Hundreds. I'm telling you. Ever since, basically ever since the Renaissance era, ever since the age of the invention of the idea of flight, the first concept for flight, ever since the first notion of creating the printing press and spreading mass information from one source to a plethora of people. The second that people in tandem had a way to connect with each other, and people in tandem had a mass way to all learn the same information that did not require an individual to go out and talk to every single body, The second sort of broadcast ability was created, a sort of phone line broadcast ability, internet, any anything like that, any form of electric or mechanical travel of information. The second that became widely available to the mass public, we entered the age of Aquarius. We entered the age of Aquarius. That's why I'm saying they've been doing this for bare minimum hundreds of years, because they saw, oh, that's the age we're going into next. Let's start preparing for that age and get everybody on our shtick, so we can now push to them whatever we wanted to push to them. We can now get them on whatever kind of regime routine that we wanted to get them on. That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how it works. But like everything, over time, sooner or later, everybody's going to figure out what's going on. This is why I practice the celestial science. And the celestial science is astrology. That's the next step. This is how we're going to beat the elite. We don't need the elite anymore. We don't need to worry about powers that be manipulating us. If we know what's right and what's wrong, if we know what's the right things coming out their mouth and what's the wrong thing coming out their mouth, what's the thing they're trying to use and tell us for their benefit, and what is can we actually confirm? Because if the super elite were not giving us some things that were actually beneficial to us, if they were not telling us facts or giving us information that was not at least accurate to the point that it's consistent, we wouldn't believe them at all. If they were telling us 100% lies, we would be able to tell, because the environment in the universe would portray that. But they can slip a little bit of lies, they can slip a little bit of deceit, they can slip a little bit of um grandeur, delusion, Neptune into the equation, so they can get their own, so they can benefit off of us. We don't need to do that no more. So I'm not here to talk about whites, blacks, Asians, um, um, Middle Easterns. I'm not talking about any particular race, because the age of Aquarius is humanity as a whole. I can go and make a child the sun. I can go make a child with anybody of any race just fine, and they'd still come out a human. They would be born into a world right now where everybody's segregated, where everybody's like, it's my people, this is my people, we are the true people, you're not even truly a person, da 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 da. And I'm not gonna lie, I used to be on this bandwagon too, but I never hated anyone. I never hated anyone. And just because a certain person may have a certain opinion on you based on past events, doesn't mean I'm gonna have that same opinion. Doesn't mean I'm gonna have that same opinion. I'm not gonna have that same opinion. I'm not going to blame you for the sins of your father and your mother. I will only blame you if you're trying to continue on the sins of your father and your mother. That is what I will blame you for. I will never blame somebody for something that they didn't do themselves. As much as I want to group everybody into a category, that's not right. I judge every person individually when I meet them or when they affect my life. What did you do? Not what did your mom, your mom's mom, your mom's mom, your dad, your dad's dad, your dad, your dad. You don't have no control of that. You can't go back in time and change their thought process. You can't go back in time and change what happened. Neither can I. So that we change this, we didn't fight that, da da da. Stop thinking about the past, how we're gonna move forward, how we're gonna go into the future, what's gonna come next, and how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that? And the future is everybody realizing that those events of the past, we are not We are we are all unique in our own way. But at the end of the day, we're all humans. Can't tell me that. We're all humans. We're all humans. This race of people is only XYZ%. We're humans. We're humans. We're humans. We're humans. Humans. That is our species. We are humans. We are the highest pinnacle race. In everybody's holy books, in all of the forms of creation, this world was created by the original Father for us. Then we were put into this world. The Father created the creation first, the world, this universe, the heavens, the earth. Then He put us in. We are the last thing He put in. And He put us in last so we can be in control of this reality here on earth. And when we're done with this reality here on earth, we go back and guess what? As in heaven, do the same thing again in heaven. Yep, yep, yep. I just blew everybody's mind. Yep, it's true. Go read any holy book. Go look at any tablet. Go talk to any priest or pastor that actually reads. Go to your old grandpa, your old grandma, who actually is like Bible thumping hard. And I mean they read, not just they do prayers and sermons and stuff like that. Like they actually read. Go to whoever that is in your life or who you ever think would have that answer. We were put here last to govern over everything. We did not create anything. We govern over it. That is the age that we live in now. Because most people would say, Leo, the sun, a fire sign, right? They're going to say that that is when we are the closest to God. No. Think of a flame. Like you got a lighter. You hit the lighter, it sparks. That spark, that is what you would consider the Father, the creation, the cardinal energy, Aries, right? You would consider it cardinal energy, right? The spark, the thing that starts it. The tip of the flame, the blue part, is the coldest part of the flame. Not the tip, the base of the flame. The tip of the flame, the very tippity top, that's where the hottest point would be. That's the part that's actually going to burn you if you touch it. You can touch the blue part of a flame and not burn yourself. It's the coolest part of the flame because it's the closest to the source. The tip of the flame, the orangey red fire triangle tip, that's where you're going to get burned from. That's where you're going to get burned from. That triangle-y tip is the age of Leo, is Leo, where they built the pyramids and all that stuff. That's when they built the pyramids and all that stuff, when they were the furthest away from the source, the original creator. We were the furthest away from the creator, and that's when we were able to build the most complex things in our world, in this universe. We are in the age of Aquarius, which is completely directly opposite of Leo, which means we are actually the closest to the source. We are in a path in the universe, in the solar system, where we're actually closest to the source right now. We're not far away from God. We're actually the closest we can ever get. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. I'm going to let that just sink in for a second. We are the closest we've ever been towards God. That's mainly the state of affairs of 2022, right? I'm going to be going over everything in detail over this next 5 months, so over this end of spring into probably the beginning of autumn, right? 3, 4, 5 month period of time. And that's just to let y'all know things are about to change. Things about to get a lot more, how can I say, eventful. Eventful. Do you want another 2020? I'm going to guarantee you. Everybody loved the energy. Everybody was in so much suspense. Everybody was 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 just going through everything together as a community in 2020. 2020 happened when Pluto was in, not Pluto, we're not talking about Pluto today. When Jupiter was in Capricorn. Jupiter was in Capricorn, then it went over into Aquarius in the at the end of 2020. Jupiter entered Aquarius at the end of 2020, and Saturn was in Aquarius at the end of 2020. Jupiter, good fortune, wealth, victory, winning, like I explained earlier. Saturn, cold, limited, stop, quit, time's up, the end of good fortune. So we were having a very, very good fortunate year, or we were having a very, very good fortunate period of time. And then Saturn came in and said, stop. It stops here. It's over right here. This is the limit. It's not getting any better than this. Saturn is stop. Saturn is time. Saturn is all of time, and Saturn is specifically all of time into the end of time, the end of your time, the end of this phase, the end, finished, completed. We're not gonna get another exact 2020 moment until 2040. Jupiter and Saturn only conjunct once every 19, 20 years on average. The last time before 2020 it conjuncted was in 2000. Now conjuncted again in 2020. It's not going to conjunct again until 2040. But if you want good positive energy like it was in 2020, you're not going to get that again until 2024. Because Jupiter was in Aquarius at the end of 2020. 2021, it was Aquarius into Pisces. And now, right now, Jupiter just entered Aries just a couple days ago. Just a couple days ago. Which means it was in Pisces for a majority of the beginning of the year. So if you ask yourself, why was the beginning of 2022 so slow? Especially if you're around my age. Why was the beginning of 2022 just so slow? Like it was dull, nothing really happened. We had threats of war, right? We had threats of war, threats of you know, explosions going off in the media and things like that. But it was slow. It wasn't as hectic as back to back to back to back to back to back to back events in nature and in the real world going on like in 2020. This is why you got to learn astrology, because you literally see all of the things that are going on in the world when they happen to everybody, and then you know, oh my gosh, this is what this energy means. Oh my gosh, this what happens when these placements, these bodies in the sky that the creator put to tell us this is going to happen is going to happen. You can see it coming and you know what it means. Therefore, you know how to maneuver. Early morning lives, how to catch in this early morning sun. This 11th house sun right now. Right now, it's actually this 12th house sun. This 12th house sun right now. Is amazing. what you do once you know. And I'm gonna be teaching y'all piecemeal, piece by piece, from my perspective, from my lens of teaching. If you want to know who taught me, Cosmo361, COZMO361. You can find him on Instagram or on YouTube. Go, go, hit him up, get a reading. You can tell him I sent you. And if you have the funds, pay for him to teach you. I am still currently learning right now. I'm still currently learning right now. You're not gonna catch up to me. You're not. You can meet me at the end when I finish. You're not gonna beat me. Trust me, you're not. Uh, this world, this world, this world, this world, this world is not gonna get another 2020 type good energy, 2020 type event until 2024. Just about 2024. Because right now Jupiter is in Aries, 2022 is gonna remain in Aries for the next 5 months, go back into Pisces, retrograde. Like, we're having a Mercury retrograde right now. The planet is gonna appear to go backwards. Then it's gonna come back in the beginning of 2023, be there for a little while. Is going to be there for, if it's going to be in for five, it's going to be there for actually more period, a longer period of time. It's going to be in there for 6 months. It's going to be in 2022 for 5.5 months. Come back into Pisces for about 3 months, and then it's going to go into 2023 for about 6 months, half the year. Then in the early half, and in the late half of 2023, it's going to go into Taurus, right? It's going to go into Taurus. So yeah, really late 2023 into the beginning half of 2024, that's when we're really gonna see. That's when we're really gonna see, because it's gonna come into Taurus, and after it comes into Taurus, it's gonna make its way and transition into Gemini. But it went into Aquarius at the end of 2020. So if the best part of the year for you was the end of 2020, then you're gonna have to wait until the second half of 2022 to have that energy again. If the first to middle half of 2020 were the best periods of time for you, like it was for me, you only have to wait until the beginning of 2024 for it to work out for you. And I'll tell you why. Everybody has a different birthday. I wasn't born the same day you were, so if I was born before you, of course the energy is gonna hit me first, because I was born before you. If you were born after me, and I'm not talking the month. If I was born in December of 1982 and you were born in January of 1958, that doesn't count. Give me a second. right? Right? If you were born during the middle portion of the year, your year isn't gonna change until the middle portion of the year until you're born. If you're born at the beginning portion of the year, your year is not gonna change until the beginning portion of the year. If you were born during the end portion of the year, your year is now going to change. The energy is now going to fully hit you until the ending part of the year. That's how it works. That's how it works. If you were born in the spring, baby, it's not gonna hit you to the spring. If you were born in the summer, it's not gonna hit you to the summer. It's not gonna hit you in the summer. If you're an autumn baby, it's gonna hit you in the autumn. If you're a winter baby, it's gonna hit you in the winter. Is what it is. It is what it is. That's just how it is. Now, now, that's the next time we're gonna have another 2020. The next time we're gonna have a 2021 is gonna be a repeat of the same thing. It's not gonna be until 2025, and the next time we're gonna have a 2022 is not gonna be until basically 2026. Basically, basically. But specifically, let's talk about the next 2020 type of event that's gonna be going on in 2024. That's about 1.5 years from now. Just about. Pluto is going to leave Capricorn. Pluto is going to leave Capricorn. Pluto is in Capricorn right now. What is Pluto in astrology? Life transference. Life going from one state to another. From not alive to alive. From a male being into a female being to form a new being. Or from a state of alive to not alive anymore. If you catch my drift. So what did we see over these past 20 some odd, not even 20, from about 20 years, if not, not even, oh, not even 8 plus 8, 16 plus 4, 12, about 14 years. Yeah, about 14 years. Because Pluto's been in Capricorn for about 14 years. What have we been seeing? The birth, the completion, the end of certain businesses, certain ways of structure, certain lines of discipline. You can do this, you can't do that. Cancel culture was born during this time period. Certain disciplines, regimens. Pluto is in Capricorn. Capricorn is what? The 10th house. What is the 10th house? Saturn. What did that Saturn say? Stop. Restriction. We saw the birth, Pluto, birth of new restrictions. Cancel culture. You can say this, you can't say that. Discipline, regimen. We're about to come out of that era. So if you've been hating cancel culture, if you've been hating why YouTube, Instagram, all of these businesses, all of these organizations, all of these structures, all of that Capricorn, all of that 10th house, all of that Saturn, if you've been hating the restrictions on the way you're speaking, I'm even restricted in the way I'm speaking right now. Because if I try to say certain things, the algorithm is going to show my viewers less things. Even how I'm speaking right here, right now, is going to get the algorithm to show my viewers less content than I'm already getting. And I don't want to get my live banned. I don't want to have to waste this hour that I spent recording just for them to tell me I get a strike on my channel. That's coming to an end soon. I hope you realize that. Once we hit 2024, once we hit 2024, once we hit 2024, It's over. It's over. Cancel culture is done. Cancel culture is done. You don't got to worry about that anymore. That's not going to be what Pluto is going to be in Aquarius, which represents humanity. Like I said, it represents technology, it represents electricity, in the spread, the broadcast of information by mechanical or electrical means, i.e., through the internet, is going to be the birth of new electrical creations, the birth of new mechanical creations, the end of old mechanical creations, the end of old electrical creations, the birth of a new humanity, the end of another humanity. Pluto in Aquarius is going to be different. It is going to be different for humanity as a whole, for us humans, for humans, for humans. Right, you're listening to me. For humans, Pluto in Aquarius, and how many every years is going to go out. By the time we leave Pluto into Aquarius and enter Pluto in Pisces, the world is going to be an entirely different place for humans. Entirely different place. So think about that for a second and what I'm saying. The birth of a new humanity. And Aquarius is machines, internet, machines, the internet, birth of a new humanity. A machine that is going to be born as a new type of you. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Hmm. 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 Interesting. Hmm. Wow. That's going to be some type of a ride. That's going to be some type of ride. But you know, I've been talking for way too long. I would love to push this to 2 hours, but I ain't got no viewers in here right now. So I just made a very valuable video. Y'all be ready. The world is going through a shift. It's gonna be greater than anything.